Everybody, welcome to today's webinar. We're going to have a little bit longer one. Our next webinar will be January 9th because the 2nd is a holiday this year, and that's the first Monday, so January 9th. All right, so this is to remind me that last webinar we were supposed to talk about our transition to the new data center and what's going on with that so that everybody's up to date. So UBX Cloud is our data center provider at this point, and they are worldwide. So they have stuff everywhere, and we have pretty much since our transition, we've not had a single day of downtime on any of our servers. So they do a real good job about doing that. We finally got 9G moved over, so now 100% of everything that Cogitate runs on the cloud is managed and handled by UBX Cloud provider instead of us handling it ourselves. That way we have professionals out there doing it rather than novice amateurs that have to look up everything, because we don't do it every single day. We're there every single day fixing things or finding bugs or dealing with attacks. So just to let you know that that's all finished now. That aspect is up and running, and so far, like I said, everything has been smooth as far as getting to the transition. So you should check out the websites. They've been updated a little bit to use their new platform, and as well as the 9G has gotten a little bit more performance. But if you want to look at the company, I didn't come in very clear, but their website is www.ubxcloud.com. And again, if you guys need something yourself to be hosted, they're a great place to have that done. All right, I want to also cover our upcoming holiday hours for the Christmas season. Cogitate will be off on December 23rd, which is a Friday, and that's not a normal day for a lot of places, but we'll be off the 23rd, the 26th, and the 27th. So that's Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. We'll be back the 28th all the way to the 30th, and then we're off, of course, on January 2nd. So just everybody should have a good holiday time, but just the 23rd being the one day that might be a little bit tricky. So make sure you get all your questions in beforehand on the 22nd. All right, so if we go into our little update, we've had a lot of updates, and it looks like we're going to have one more coming up in the next 21 seconds. As soon as the webinar is over, I'm going to be posting another update just so you're aware. We had two other issues that popped up from fixes to the fixes, as they call it. All right, so let's get started on some of the bigger things that we've updated. Since last time we talked, we have gone ahead and updated the page 1 report of the state trunk line report of expenditures, so that when we have an option now that you can suppress the rows when all the columns are 0. This will help if you have, because before I used to list out every single item in your budget. Now it will only list out the ones that are all still zeros. We added a new AP checks board report that prints an accounts payable check register, and that was mainly for one specific customer, but check that out anyways. Maybe there'll be something that you're going to want to use for your board when you're doing AP checks for your board. In payroll, we made the honor of the fixed rate and can comp options. So what we've done, and I'm going to cover that right now a little bit. What we did here in payroll in setting up of pay types. First, we added a new kind of pay type, and it's called a fixed rate pay type. So if you come in here and you select the fixed rate and put in a fixed rate, then whenever this pay type is selected by your users in the TimeCard app, or whether you change the value of it, so whenever they come in and pick up code APP, the fixed rate will be $24 an hour. Doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter where they come from. It'll be $24 an hour, as well as if you have additionals and factors that you want to put in, those will also be honored as well. So that's with the fixed rate flag checked. You know, and I hear the crowd going wild and being happy. Then we've also added a while back ago this CAN comp flag. And this was put in for the kind of the new time card system, but we also just got done making the payroll post honor both the fixed rate and the CAN comp flag. This flag says that they can check comp time. So if you don't have the CAN comp on one of your, like your regular, let's go here and see regular. So if you don't have it on regular or your overtime, then you won't be able to specify the comp time flag during payroll post as well. So that's what that was all about, you know, for that update. But just let you know that there's a new fixed rate pay type that we have available. All right, going back to okay, so then we also put in a check, and we just have found a little bit of an issue with this check. So we're putting out a new release, like I said, as soon as this webinar is over to fix it. But basically, the check is still in place. That doesn't let you do anything. If somebody has payroll post open or you know, unimport or import, only one person can be doing either a calculation or an import or an unimport at a time in the system. So it'll keep track of and lock out anybody else trying to do that. And right now the bug is we got the wrong ID that for the who it was. So we try to get back and let you know who it was that had the problem. So that's being fixed, but I don't know if I can show that. Yeah, I can. So if I am in payroll, we can go into, where did that? Import. I know you're here. Okay, so if I open up the unimport, and we'll let that cook for a little bit while it does it. And then I try to open import, you'll get cannot load import because you have unimport time card open. Well, eventually he'll come back. I got a lot of stuff open on my database, so take it a while. So when he comes back, I'll be able, there you go. So with the time card, you know, you can only have one of those 2 or 3 open at a time, system wide. So that way we don't get, because there's a couple places where we could get a data mismatch where somebody is unimporting something that somebody's importing. And journals would get out of balance and, you know, things like that. So we put that in, lock it. And that's what that's about. So you may run into that. If you do get caught on one of those, you can simply go to tools and do a repair GL post control tables, and that will clear out all the locks. But be careful, because whenever you run this one, anybody who's doing posting will lose all their posting data. So you want to make sure everybody has saved and committed, or at least left it, has saved and committed their journals at this point before running that if you get caught in the locking issue. All right. Next part. No. That one. Okay. We also then added the, that's the fixed rate I just covered here. We updated the length of the check name items to 20 characters. So if we go into payroll and we go to the setup bank types, the check name is now 20 characters long. And then in the future, we're going to be making all of our reports and checks that print out pay stubs and everything be using this check name for the description. We're no longer going to use this description. mainly because this description is 36 characters long, and we do need to control how many characters we can put together to make it, so we can make a very, very nice looking pay stub that basically would look very nice, very clean and nice for everybody. We haven't done the pay stubs yet. We haven't done the reports. We haven't changed PR types laser, but all of those will be changed and updated to use that. Same thing with deduction types. This check display name is 20 characters now, and you can key that in. And same thing with payroll types. This check name is also 20 characters long. So with all of that going on, you get the idea that, we're going to be making those become what's showed up on the pay stub. So you'll see that, and you'll need to make the adjustments appropriately in your software to so you have good naming everywhere. As well as if you want it in a specific sort order, you can simply change the display name to have the right sort order. Yeah, the job code was being displayed. That's just a bug there. We fixed that. The import also had an issue where it wasn't saving the inventory attachments with the right price each. So we found that, and I don't, can't really show that. It's a lot of take quite a bit to show what's going on. But basically, we missed one of the price each checks, and so we got now all of the places where we're trying to push out an inventory record for an import from my work, and we are getting the correct price each now. We updated the uncalculated payroll deductions to display payroll calculations that have a pay date in the current fiscal year. So what we're saying is once you do a fiscal year end, and do a post balances forward, we're no longer allowing you to do a uncalculated payroll deductions in that year that's been already forwarded. Mainly because of there's just so many pieces and parts that need to be perfectly done right in order to have that happen. And we felt that once you do your post balances forward, pretty much that should lock out the year from changes. And we've also added many other places. I think up here, we're looking at the journal effective date for the fiscal year. So whenever you have the post balances forward, we just don't let you change anything now in a previous fiscal year, just to help keep everything squared away with accounting and things like that. So auditors as well as yourself can feel safe that when you go back and look at something in the past, it's the same. Nothing has really changed it. We did do a big update on the funds maintenance window. I wanted to cover that real quick. If we look at the funds maintenance window under general ledger and we go to funds, you'll see immediately how it's different if you've been here recently. But we have the internal accounts is what they're called. And these used to be the fund links. So we have when you have the fund, we have the fund level, we have an expense, revenue, and balance. Then if you add payroll to this fund, you have the accrued liabilities of Social Security, and the equipment rental. If you have payables, then you need the accounts payable. You get the idea. So that the internal accounts needed for each of the pieces to operate those, as well as the new one, which is inventory, where we're making you we give you 4 places to put in different adjustment accounts in preparation for an update that we're doing where we're going to be building an inventory adjuster. So that because what's happened now is several places are adjusting their inventory, but it's throwing off a lot of the calculations because certain things aren't done exactly right. So we've put this together, and those will be released probably next in January or February when we have that finalized, the adjustment. All right, then going back to the next one. So that's the funds. Let's see, the next piece that we're doing was The fund maintenance, just a fiscal year lock, like I said, to the other utilities, like if you come in here to do change effective dates on a journal, you can't do that in a previous year if you've already done your, so again, most likely you're not going to be doing your final post balances forward until after you have your auditors and stuff like that in. So it's usually not really ran until the 15th, 16th, till the 5th month or June, sometimes June, but usually February, March, or April is when you finally run the final one, so that you've got all the auditors adjustments are in and everything. But if you did want to do it, you could run, in a variety of ways you can do things, but you get the idea. Then the menu locking for several items where we're crisscrossing items and we're making sure that somebody isn't in here doing a change effective dates on a journal, during other operations that might, be important, like, calculating a payroll at the same time. So things like that. We're just trying to make sure that, some of these utilities that could cause some significant issues in, other places won't affect them while they're doing it. So if somebody's in one of those utilities, then this will come back and say somebody's in that utility. And it should tell you the username based on the, hang on, let me say done here, based on the username from security here. So whatever this username is here, that's the name it will show up in your, it'll say Bobby has something locked, or Abby4 has something locked, or my favorite, user 1. All right. Back to the updates. Okay, so the final one is we added a W9 checkbox, and that's the new, sorry, my bad. Menu locking. Okay, so we added a new this fix got broken again. So this is what's the new one is PFA Works time card when it starts up shows an error message about PR types. And we had the fix in there and something happened where something overwrote something, so the fix didn't get rolled out. So that was my fault. And so that's why we'll be having another update. Again, we had a lot of visual issues with the display time card validation and the import. So we fixed a lot of the parts to the import. The import now has a lot of little things that people have just asked for. So we put those into this release. So again, not many of you are running the new import for MyWorks. So when you finally do transition from the existing time card to the new MyWorks, you will, a lot of the little issues that you may have encountered, have been addressed. We added an error flag one of the things that we did do that was important was, just like in your existing import, if they pick a time card that has an extra rate flag, we show that now as an error before, where we didn't before. So it just helps, make things, as well as we, changed a lot more of the error checking in MyWorks import where we didn't have it before. Okay, and then we added a new thing into the payables for a W9 check. I was going to cover that real quick. So in payables, we added in vendor maintenance, under the taxes area, we have a new W9 on file. So you can check that if you have a W9 on file and the date that the W9 is expiring. So you'll know to need to go get a new W9 file from the employees that are from your vendors that do have, a W9 file that you're supposed to have on file for them. So again, it's just a way to help you manage it. So again, you can just check it and then you can put a date in, you can leave the date blank. So we'll just put today's date in. So then we have a report out here as well that you can run. So I'll go ahead and save this. So we have one person. Oh, that's good if I picked a vendor code. Hang on a second. No, All right, so here we go. Got a vendor, got a date, do a save. All right, then we can run our report. And we should have a vendor W-9 list report. And we're just going to do it for everybody. We are going to say active only. Of course, I might have picked an inactive one. And we're going to list all the vendors, and we're not going to worry about, we can put a, hold on high, but we'll just go ahead and run the report so you can see it. So you have the vendor code. Here's the first one. So W-9 status is true, and expiration. So you can sort by W-9 status just by clicking it in the report. You can sort by expiration date. This is the first one I did, the blank one. But you get the idea. So you can come through here and you can set all of them. And if you have a W-9 on file for them or not, then you can print this report out and, take a look and see. There you go. All right, just to kind of show you those changes that we did. So that's kind of what we worked on for the last little bit. We've been doing a lot of work on the barcode gun. I can show a little bit of it, but it's not, unfortunately things take longer than I hope. So everybody, probably not going to get the barcode gun out until sometime into January, but there's always miracles that can happen in Christmas time. So maybe we'll get a Christmas miracle and Santa will lend me a few elves and somehow I'll be able to get through a lot of issues quickly. The things that are coming up, obviously, are the taxes. We have to go through and validate all our payroll taxes, get the new tax tables in place. That always takes a little while because of the different states that we have people that need those state ones done, and we have to verify and validate that all the state taxes are handled correctly. And usually every year there's one state that decides to overhaul their taxing, how they tax it. So we have to change our calculation to adjust to it, of course. Another couple questions we've had in the past, just to clarify, some people claim that our 941 doesn't stay up to date. It does. The thing is the federal government stopped releasing quarterly 941s. So if you go up to the federal government and get the latest 941, it still shows as the third quarter 941. So they don't always update the 941, every single quarter. So they only did that for a little while the 941 actually had physical changes on it for COVID and the way they wanted COVID reported, as well as Family Leave Act or something like that, reported for the COVID issues. So because of that, now that COVID has slowed down and they're, those programs aren't in place anymore for employers to report, the 941 is stabilized again. So you'll see that as it'll still say, the January or June, can't remember, 941 version, but it is there isn't another one out there at the IRS level, so we don't have an update. It just looks like we're not doing the updates, but yet there really hasn't been one. Let's see what else we have. We have a few other things that we're dealing with. Going back through my notes, I think that covers just about anything. Paul, have I missed anything?
I don't think so. I think that's all you wanted to cover.
Okay, so that's all the primary things I wanted to cover.
You are now working smarter with ProFund Accounting. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.